Hello, and welcome to Got a Degree What's Next? Find your next move to fulfill your passion and unleash your maximum potential summit to help you uncover your next step and become clear on what you actually want to do with your life. I'm your host, Amanda Hill, and today we have Bea-Marie. She is a multifaceted entrepreneur who founded her first business at the age of 19, and she has dedicated her life to being of service and to inspiring people to live their best life, do what they believe in, and create the impossible. Her works result in more clarity, higher energy, and more productivity for overall better performance. And today we'll be diving into the missing link of success. So I'll have Bea-Marie just start off by sharing a little bit about her story and how she got where she is today. I'll hand it off to you.
Hi. Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, we're excited to have you. And I think the missing link to success, the things that we'll be diving into is so critical because so many of us are kind of biased on how we define success is for us. So I'm curious, as an expert in high performance, what does success mean to you?
Ooh, this is such a good question because it's so personal. Like you said, we're all deceived by what society is telling us about success. Is it the money? Is it the house? Is it the cars? Is it, the beautiful partner? Is it the well-behaved kids? Is it the dog that, sits down when you say, shh? Is it like what, how do we define success in our society today? Because there's so high standards.
Yeah.
And so it's a very, very personal decision, actually. You make the decision what success means to you. And for example, for me, success means being happy, being fulfilled with what I do, and loving what I do. Because nothing beats being completely in the flow with your life, with your partnership, with your work, with the stuff that you do. Um, sorry, this is the ultimate goal, basically. This for me
Right.
is success. And if I have to have $1 million to achieve that, so be it. Then I will create it.
Right.
But that's not the benchmark. It's not like, oh, I have to have $1 million and then I'm successful. No,
Exactly.
I'm going to create $1 million because then I can create what I want, what I dream, what I envision.
Hmm. Yeah. That's amazing, and it's like it's a journey, so it's always going to change as well, and, what I've kinda done is I like using, like, the wheel of life, and I kind of like to define what success is in each of those areas,
Mm.
and that way it's just, you feel more balanced to know what you're moving toward. So, that's awesome, and so success, like you said, can be hard to achieve. And some of us, depending on a work ethic, can really drain ourselves trying to achieve whatever success is for us. So what are some of the ways that you have found that will like sustain our performance as we move forward in our journey towards just achieving success so we don't like lose that motivation and start procrastinating or feeling like it's not worth it to achieve?
Love.
Oh.
It's so simple,
Hmm.
but it is love. The missing link to whatever kind of success you want in your life is love. Loving what you do.
Hmm.
When you start being an accountant, you became an accountant for a reason. You love numbers. You love helping people get through all this bureaucracy stuff. You love to do that. So always coming back to why I started. And if I don't know why I started, then I need to find something else.
Hmm.
Then I need to figure out something else that I love. And it's no shame. Like my parents and grandparents' generation, they were like, okay, I'm going to start a job. I'm going to be in this job for the rest of my life. But that's not how the world is. Like you said,
Right.
it's ever changing. It's a journey. We are changing. The generations before us, they didn't have the chance to really change. They were like sucked in this container and there they stayed.
Right.
They stayed with the same partner. They didn't matter if they were happy or not. They stayed with their job because this is what you do. But we are so far more advanced right now. We know that there's more out there. We know that by expanding our horizon and looking over the pond into the ocean, basically, that there's so much more out there.
Hmm.
And so really finding what you love. And if it's numbers, it's numbers. If it's dance, it's dance. But find that reason why you do that. Simon Sinek says, find your why, because this is the ultimate starting point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, like Apple and Microsoft. He gives this example of Apple and Microsoft. Microsoft says, we make amazing computers. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really, really catchy, you know? But Apple says, we create really, really nice lifestyle computers to make your life easier and to create for you, da, 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 da. They give you a reason to buy because that's what they believe. And they show you their belief. They show you their why they do it, and not just, we make an incredible product.
Right.
And this is with every area of life. Like, why do you do something?
And I think also, because I actually struggled with this for a long time, so I would love to hear what you have to say on it. When we're trying to figure out what that why is for us, if we've never had that, that thing that we were driving towards our entire life, and we kind of just, I personally had to try different things before I landed on what I was doing and why I wanted to do it to create that impact. Do you have some tips or ways that we can maybe either notice that we're on the right path when it's time to change path? Like you said, like finding what we're in love with. Like, how do we kind of discern that for ourselves if we're not sure?
So it has a lot to do with flow.
Mm.
Flow, like how does your energy flow? How does your body feel when you do things? Because most of the time we decide from our brain. We decide because this is the way to do things, or this is the way it should be. I started as an actress. I have a 25 plus years career as an actress. And it took me about, 5 or 6 years to give it up because my mind said, no, we put so much blood, sweat, and tears into this. We cannot stop yet. We cannot stop. I was like, and, my other side was like, but I'm not happy. It's not fulfilling. Like, I don't even want to get the next job.
Right.
And this is when you notice, when you, in the morning, you wake up and you're like, yes, you can have a bad night. But when you think about your day, it doesn't matter how bad you slept. When you think about your day and you're like, oh, wow, this is going to be such a great day. I'm working with this person. I'm going to work with this person. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Or I'm just going to hang out in the hammock, But your day should excite you. It doesn't matter how bad the night was before. And this is an indicator to say, if you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, okay, brush my teeth, go to work, come back home, do dinner, and go to bed. That's like, okay, that's like the universe smacking you with a baseball bat saying, this is not working.
Right. Yeah, and it forces you to go out of your comfort zone. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this event was because I just want people to know that you deserve a day and a life that actually excites you. You don't have to be in this monotonous routine day in and day out just because that's how you started your career or that's what you got your degree in. Like you were saying earlier, like the opportunities for us at this point is just endless. You can literally make anything you want, and the opportunity, like you can make it happen if you stick with it. So yeah, I think, and for me, like you said, it was just finding that flow, but I also had to try different things, and you have to get outside your comfort zone in order to do that. So speaking of comfort zone and kind of being like tied down to that, because our brains are like geared to look for fear, and so it usually keeps us stuck. Can you tell us about like some of the common obstacles to not achieving success, and maybe some of the ways we can overcome those things in a practical way?
Well, the first one you already addressed, and that's fear.
Mhm.
Because our brain, the only not opportunity, the only thing that our brain has to do is keep us alive.
Right.
That's what it does. It keeps our body alive by checking our blood rhythm, our heart rhythm, like all of this. And then it also checks for, is there a saber-toothed tiger around the corner?
Right.
So when we overcome that fear, or not even overcome, but when we know about that fear, when we know that this is our brain saying, woohoo, saber-toothed tiger, Stone Age kind of thing, then we know, okay, so this means I'm getting to the end of my comfort zone here.
Mhm.
So it's actually just a leap or just a tiny jump, and then I will grow.
Right.
So this is, instead of saying, oh, okay, maybe I should retrieve and go back and, have a cup of coffee and lay down, but
Mhm.
just take that step. Be courageous. Just know there is no saber-toothed tiger around the corner, and just go, because
Mhm.
the only thing that can happen is you grow. Most of the time, we don't fall, we don't crumble, we don't, it's just that thing in our head that says, ah, uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And when you do that step, I promise you, you will never regret that step. When
Right.
your brain comes in and says, wee, and you're like, oh, yes. The, the, how to overcome it is to go with passion and with and when you start being adventurous and be like, oh, there's the siren. All right, let's buckle up. Let's
Right.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, the perspective that fear when it starts to creep up, just realizing, "Oh, I'm growing," and, like, this is
Yes.
me, it's just a sign of growing and, like, overcoming more things, and the more you do that, the more you prove to yourself that you can do it, so you're only gonna go so much further. That's awesome.
Yeah, and the other point is that sometimes we don't feel good enough. Yes, we
Yeah.
got a degree. Even we got a PhD or something. It's like we have put so much effort and so much work into our education, but still we feel like we're an imposter. What if
Mhm.
they find out that we cannot actually do it? What
Right.
what if we totally freeze when we have to give a presentation? So what?
Mhm.
It's like, what other people think doesn't matter because they don't think about you.
Right.
That's the one thing to think about. When we think, "Oh, what would they think?" They don't. They don't
Mhm.
think about you. They have their own stuff to solve. They're in their own little tornado. And they're also thinking, "Oh, what is the other person thinking about me?" But it's like we don't have time to think about other people.
Mhm.
We It's just this, we are really, and this is not judging or anything, but we are egocentric.
Mhm.
We revolve around us.
Mhm.
And that's why, what do they think about us? No, it's our projection, what they might think, our prejudice of
Yeah.
how they perceive us.
Right.
And instead of doing this, we need to keep the energy with us. We need to bring it back to where we are and know who we are, why we have done what we've done, why we've created this life that we have created, and why we're walking the path that we're walking. Why did I want to get this degree in the first place? What did I want to do with it? Did I just want to make money? Was it for the money? Or was it for, do I want to make the world a better place? Do I want to serve people? Do I want to heal the world? What do I want to do with it?
Right.
And then fuel yourself from that. And keep your energy with yourself, because when you bring your attention to other people, that's just lost. That's an endless stream of energy that goes away from you. And you feel drained at the end of the day because you've been thinking so much about what other people think about you.
Yeah. It's so hard. I
It
feel that
is.
so
It
much.
is really hard.
Yeah, I know, but I keep telling myself, like you were saying, it's like they're not thinking about me, and, like, if you do mess up, say, in a presentation or in a high pressure situation, like, they're not gonna be thinking about it even an hour from that moment, so, like, it's just, you just have to let go and not have that perfectionism, like, hold you back, but I agree, it's very difficult, and a lot of people I talk with deal with imposter syndrome, but again, it's
Yeah.
that sign of growth, so really love that. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that, or was there any other point to
Yeah.
those
Because
obstacles of growth
I
or
just
success?
I just found a note that I made for myself.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, now. NOW
Yes.
in big letters. And when you feel like when you feel like, no, I'm not ready yet.
Right.
Now means no opportunity wasted.
Mhm.
Even
Yeah.
if you're not ready yet, if you do not go and do the presentation, use it as a training. It's
Mhm.
not like the end of the road. This presentation will not make or break your life. It's just a presentation. It's a training ground. And the
Right.
more you do, the better you get.
Yep.
Yeah. So no opportunity wasted.
What I'm taking for this is just go. Keep going. Keep like going forward without burning yourself out. I'm not advising that, but and I think when you're doing this, reflecting on what you've learned and what you could like, what you liked, what you didn't like about some of the things you're doing is a really great way to make sure that you're moving in the right direction. So really, really awesome. Um,
Oh, yes. Sorry.
uh,
Sorry for interrupting, but I just want to
sure.
address one more thing because, yes, we all have been there where we completely screwed up, where we froze, where we just bombed, where it was just like really, really humiliating, even when
Mhm.
we were 7 or so. But this carries on. Our body remembers those feelings.
Okay.
And we need to let go of that shame that we feel because shame means that something is wrong with us. But
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with us. We are all perfect. We are all created perfect. Yes. Do we do imperfect things? Yes.
Mhm.
But by doing, we're learning. And if we stop doing, we will stop learning. That means also we stop growing. And when we stop growing, then we basically die.
Right.
So, yes, you might feel ashamed because you have bombed a presentation or, have made a big mistake in your company or, whatever. But it's a rookie mistake and you learn from it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's kind of like my mom always said, like when I fell off the horse the first time, she was like, get back up. It will happen again, but get back up.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it happened again, but I was prepared. Things happen. And that's how life is. And life
Mhm.
will throw you a lot of sticks in your way, lots of stumbling stones.
Mhm.
But it's not about that they don't come, it's about how you react to them,
Yeah, that's good.
how you
Right.
get back up, basically.
Yeah. That's a true measure of like success, I feel. So, um, and I just know people are dealing with this. So I want to be specific. I'm going to ask you like a habit or an action step that you would advise, but I really would love if it could be tied to like how do we let go of that perfectionism or that fear that we've all experienced because a lot of us are navigating this uncertain season of life and a lot of that is going to hold us back. So do you have just like a practical habit or an action step we can practice every day that will help us let go of some of these things, the fear and the perfectionism, imposter syndrome?
I love that. Thank
Mhm.
you so much for asking this because, yes. So, what I've been doing for the past 3 months, and it has been life changing for me, I have a I have a gong. I have a self-love gong that I set every hour on top of the hour, and it reminds me to give myself love, to give myself grace. And so at 7, for example, the gong came on and it just takes a second. It just takes 2 to 3 seconds to just put your hand on your heart and really tune into yourself and be like, "Phew, I love myself.
Mhm.
Through all the changes I have been through, I love the person that I have become."
Yeah.
And just take a deep breath and give
Wow.
yourself love.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I gave myself love. That's a really, really great and it's something we overlook and, like, we're always like, I hear all the time, like, treat yourself how you would treat your friend, you
Yeah.
know? So, I that's a really great thing, and, yeah, I don't hear too much about that, so I really appreciate you sharing that. So I understand that you have a free goodie for us. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that is?
Yes. So it's a future self and vision attunement. And since we talked about, got a degree, what's next? I thought that this would be a really, really good thing because it's a 30-minute, it's not a meditation, it's not a hypnosis, it's an attunement. It's something in the middle. Like you lay down, you relax, and you listen to it. And it will guide you to your future self, basically. It will guide you to a different energetic plane where you can ask questions, where you can tune into your higher self and really, really reflect on what you want and where you want to go. And it's really, really powerful. I do that in my programs a lot, and people are just like, they're mind blown. So
Mhm.
yeah. And during the programs, they're longer, sometimes an hour, sometimes 1.5 hours. But I try to, yeah, because nobody has time today. So I thought this would be a really, really good goodie. And I want to give you something else because I just wrote an ebook. It's called Being Superman. Being Superman. No, being Superwoman.
Uh,
Bringing out your best self.
oh, that
And
ties really well. That
yeah,
idea.
and it gives you 8 really, really cool steps on stepping into your
Mhm.
perfect life, into your best self, the best version of yourself, with really tangible tips and what to do and exercises and stuff. Yes.
Awesome. That's
And I would like to
amazing.
give that.
Yeah, and they go hand in hand. And would you recommend like this attunement would you do daily, or how often would you recommend people do that type of visualization?
It depends on how open you are.
Mm.
When you're very open, when you're very intuitive, then it's probably enough when you do it once every 3 to 4 months,
Oh, okay.
to see if it changed or not. But
Mhm.
if you feel like when you need more confirmation, then you can check in with that more. Then you can check in more often with it, of course.
Okay.
But it's supposed to give you a roadmap. It's supposed to give you like what your soul is calling you to do.
Right. And my whole thing is like that what's next. So that's awesome. And you can use that as a tool to kind of determine that next step for you as you
Yes.
really define what it is you actually want. So, thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed this conversation. And for those who tuned in, be sure to download your future self and vision attunement audio. And then what was the other freebie? I'm
The
sorry.
ebook,
The
the
ebook.
ebook
Yes.
Being Superwoman.
And
I'm gonna get you the link. So this was really spontaneous, but I'm gonna
yeah.
get you the link as soon as possible.
Sure. I will have those links below, and you can tune back in for the rest of our Got a Degree Summit series. Thank you so much, Bea-Marie, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for having me.